Good morning. Good morning. GM, everyone. Welcome to another episode of FOMO HOUR. Hey.
Loud. Loud in here.
Oh, how loud is it?
Anyone hear it?
Jesus. Make sure the audio is not. Am I a little too close to the mic? We'll pull it
I don't think you were too close. That was just crazy loud.
Phew. All right. I'm excited. Today, Friday, February 21st. It's a really good day. It's Friday. The sun is shining. The coins are green. And the SEC has dropped its case against Coinbase. The mood on CT. We are so back. Just a few days ago on Monday, it could not have been more over. Today on Friday, we are so back. Of course, the question is, will this rally continue through the weekend? And will Kanye throw a wrench into the plans? We're going to break it all down on today's show. Farokh is flying back home today. He will be back on with us on Monday. But we've got Mando and Logan in the house. Mando, GM, how you doing?
How you doing? I am doing fantastic, man. Good to see that the market has come back from peak bear market vibes a few days ago. It's kind of what we said. Different things seem to be rallying. Definitely feels like a bit of an altcoin season is starting to form, which I think is very interesting to look at.
It really does. I think we need to dig into that and see, is it real? Is it a bit of a head fake? Can we trust it or not? So I think folks are very hesitant to trust or even to mention it. I mentioned alt season briefly on Twitter. People told me to delete my posts, and I did.
Wow.
I jinxed it. I'm very superstitious, so I did. In fact, Logie, GM, how you doing?
Hey, good morning, Tyler. Yeah, good morning here. More bullish headlines. What's not to be excited about? It's warming up a little bit outside. Hopefully the sun's shining today. I'm feeling good.
Warming up just like the markets. All right, folks, what are we talking about on today's show? We're going to start with Mando's market report. We got to talk about alts cooking. What's going on with IP, Barrett, Kaido, Utah passing Bitcoin reserve in the Senate. We've got the SEC dropping their case against Coinbase. The latest from Kaido, and that Kaido token, man, it just keeps grinding up. Talk about AI rebounds, NFTs on a run, on abstract. Are we actually going to get this Kanye token? We might, if we have time, we might talk a little bit about punks, recent punk purchases.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
A little around the horn. Before we dive into of course, 2 Rollbit spins today. 2 big spins to end the week. Before we dive into it, shout out to our partners. Galaxis is a Web3 platform empowering creators and brands to build unstoppable communities with full ownership and independence. Trusted by icons like Donald Trump, Steve Aoki, Mike Tyson, and the NBA, shaping together the future of engagement. And every day we see people's wallets get drained. Fairside is about to launch the fair alternative to insurance for crypto scams. Check out at Fairside Network on X. If you get drained, you won't be wrecked. All right. As always, we love our partners. Mando, we love our partners. Mando, if you're ready, let's get into it.
Who is the man, macro daddy of the land? Can you dig it?
Yeah, there's a lot to really report on, it feels like, over the last 24 hours. Firstly, Bitcoin kind of headed back up towards the 100K area, which is kind of unsurprising. That bit's been outperforming for a little bit now, or at least been strong for a little bit now. What we have seen is ETH has continued to outperform, notably outperforming Solana on the week, obviously. If you look at the 3 majors over the last week, I think ETH is up about 4%. Sorry, just taking a minute here. Where is it? I'll just bring up CoinGecko. Yeah, ETH is up 4%. Solana's down 10%. And Bitcoin's up 2%. And ETH being up and the market not dying is the first time I've seen that in a long time. And what you started to see is a little bit of the foothills, let's say, of some of the ETH related alts, or just like more not memes and not AI and none of the stuff on Solana really, like that's bounced, but like that's not what I'm seeing the majority of the mind share moving towards right now. So yeah, it's a different group of people kind of taking the forefront. I've seen things on Berachain. Obviously some of the newer coins are doing well, which has been very interesting. We didn't have a meta like that until this time last year, I think, or maybe even I forget what it was, when like new launches would do really well. But you've seen KAITO IP, Phantom's rebrand to Sonic. These have all done pretty well. So yeah, very interesting time. Yesterday the main mover was IP Story Protocol, which some NFTs still have an airdrop too. So go check your NFTs. And that move is up around 150% in a week. So a decent move there. And that was one that was kind of slightly, had some FUD around it. Like people didn't really know what it was around. It does feel maybe like a market maker move, market maker led move there. But yeah, just people are still wanting to degen. This is kind of what I think I was saying before. Like there's so much stables on chain right now, but like there's money to do risky stuff. There's just been a bit of a paradigm shift, I think, in what people are looking for. That's what I'm starting to see. And that, what I would say as an overarching thing I'm seeing is the return of degen DeFi. And I would say the two things that epitomize that are Berachain and Sonic Phantom. Both of these coins are up about 60% on the week. And actually, let me just break down Berachain, because Berachain, I think people know, newer coin, L2 with a bunch of different DeFi. It's got about 3 to 4 billion of TVL on it right now, but a bunch of people are on there DeFi farming. It's got like a rewards, like a very active rewards program going on right now. So a lot of people have been making money on that. The one that I have been more interested in is Sonic Phantom. If you just type Sonic, if you're on Twitter now, just type Sonic into your Twitter, you'll realize that like pretty silently this thing's been going a bit gangbusters recently. And that's because the TVL has gone from around 550K last month to around 700 million in the space of a month. And that it had a big tech upgrade. So it's gone from being a pretty slow chain that was like known as Phantom in 2021, big, created by Andre Kanye, who's like a DeFi OG. And they did this big upgrade and a raise. They did do a $200 million raise. And the TPS is now 10K. So it's actually fast, or if not faster than Solana, at current speeds. So it's an L1. It's not an L2. But what I'm seeing is tons of trading activity and TVL moving to these sort of chains to do crazy stuff. So like the meta seems to have been NFTs to memes to daily runner style memes. And now what I'm seeing is like move to degen DeFi. So like why Berachain and S are going to Phantom a little bit more, or Sonic now, they've got this big rewards program going on till July, where it's like $300 million of rewards till July. And you can get like thousands of percents on these like DeFi LPs at the moment. And I'm seeing like Ansem move towards there. I'm seeing all the DeFi people talking about it right now. A bunch of OGs from 2021, all like, yeah, we're all going to move to Phantom. And this isn't just like a pump. Like it feels as though there's actually TVL moving. Like I said, 700 million TVL. So money is leaving Solana, and I think it's finding a place to degen. That's what I'm seeing. And at the moment, it appears to be this sort of stuff. It appears to be L1s and particularly DeFi. So it'll be interesting to see if that actually flows past just DeFi on these sort of like degen DeFi chains to now memes and NFTs and that sort of stuff. Like what I noticed yesterday is like the number one meme, for example, on Phantom was like in the top movers on my deck screener. That's what I also started to pick up on it. I think it's something called, what's it called?
Thanks.
No, it's
Top move.
no. Shadow's the DeFi protocol.
Okay.
Shadow, to be clear, right now is the #1 DeFi protocol on Sonic, and it's making as much as hype. Over $1 million a day in fees. So people are going people are just owning Shadow because all the fees are used for that there. It's called begins with a G, but I'll find it. But it's like 15 million up, like 150%. I was like, that is. I just see it. I can just see it now. Like the last few days, I hadn't seen that many Sol runners, although today that has slightly changed. But what I'm seeing is other chains are now starting to pick up the mantle. And the two or three that seem to be the strongest right now are Story Protocol, Chain, and Sonic. The one I'm most interested in is Sonic, just because of the people moving there, and just because I think it's actually interesting tech in that it's now fast. It's not just an L2. But yeah, if you just type in Sonic, you'll see all these people now suddenly talking about it, right? So you can kind of feel the foothills of Sonic, and this trades at 2.9 billion FDV, fully unlocked, because it's been unlocked since 2021. So it's not. It's if you compare this to Sui, which is similarly like a fast, cheap chain, right? It trades at 30 billion FDV. It's a little bit difficult to look at this chart because that upgrade happened at the last week of December. You have to look at the Phantom chart. The Phantom chart goes back all the way to 2021, and that I think that was at $4 in 2021, but it begins with an F. I don't know if they'll show it even to you because sometimes they don't. Yeah, they don't. Maybe if you type in Phantom, just type in Phantom Sonic. I'm sure somebody would have onto X. I'm sure somebody would have done the whole chart, so you can look back on what it looks like if that's what it looks like essentially. But yeah, that's what I'm starting to see, and it's only really been over the last 48 hours that I'm starting to see that sort of a movement. So overarching, it feels as though ETH is starting to outperform, and that is causing people to look away from Solana, particularly because the Sol Casino seems to have been challenged at least for the last week or so, and look to other things. So broaden your horizons a little bit. I think that's what I was kind of doing for the last few days, looking at different things, and this is one that picked up. Chain is another one. People are farming all that sort of stuff, but I feel as though Degen DeFi might be the next renaissance narrative, and that might then move back into things like NFTs and memes on those chains. That's kind of what I'm seeing if I take a top down at the moment. In terms of bullish stuff for crypto, we did have quite a lot. It does feel as though the SEC versus Coinbase has been dropped. I think that was kind of known for a few days now, if I'm honest, because they did pause the lawsuit. The SEC has also allowed yield-bearing stablecoins. They obviously had that bullish thing around DeFi yesterday. So their fight against SEXs and DEXs seems to be fading a little bit here, which again is causing this sort of DeFi renaissance, I think, as well. People thinking they can do a lot more with a lot more of this stuff. There was some bullish talk about the Bitcoin reserve. VanEck said if you buy 1 million, if the US buys $1 million of Bitcoin for its reserve, it may offset $21 trillion of debt. Although that's with their crazy estimates. Well, maybe not crazy, but that's with their very high estimates. Arizona and Utah both extended they look like they're heading towards bills around Bitcoin reserve, which I think was bullish. Macro, nothing really going on. Gold continues to be very, very strong, but the rest of the markets is it was kind of sideways yesterday, and it was more like macro political stuff, so stuff around Ukraine, et cetera, et cetera. So nothing really to derail us there. But then, yeah, that's just what I'm seeing in the left curve stuff. People are liking new coins, so new coins are trading very well. And then secondly, this Degen DeFi is really all over my timeline.
So I agree with you. I'm a little hesitant here. I'm just wondering, is it still early I feel like it's still probably early on Chain. Sonic, like I know like Andy 8052, he's been tweeting about it, and he had the tweet that I pulled up on the stream. He said entire Sonic ecosystem 5X's, and then CT starts talking about it, basically. So like
Classic.
am I exit liquidity if I move over now? But then if there's $300 million in rewards.
Well, I would say that is true for Shadow, which is the main DEX, but Sonic is like, I just showed you the chart of Sonic, right? Like it's not
It's 80 all-time highs, yeah.
It's still well below where it could go, right? And it's not like it's some unbelievably high FTV thing. To put it in perspective, I think Berachain is around $1.2 billion current market cap and around $5 billion FTV. This is 2.9, but it's all unlocked. And then something like Story Protocol, I think, is like 800 million and like 4 billion FTV. So like they're all in and around the same area. But Sonic's is fully unlocked. But there's no doubt that like this is something that, I mean, Ansem has been talking about Sonic for months, and like it's kind of been around this level. I'm just saying that now might be the time where I'm seeing it gain mindshare, like significant mindshare.
Yeah, and people are looking for the next thing already. Like we see how fast the space moves, and folks are ready to move on. It is wild to think. So this is trading at 2.6 billion market cap, 2.9 FTV. Kaido is trading at 1.8. So this chain, which is sixth in overall DEX volume, is just a small premium to an InfoFi protocol.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I don't think you're late to this. Like, yeah, it's up because there are some OGs who are in it for a long time, and they'll be like, you're late, but that's not crazy. Like Sui, like I just told you, Sui trades at $30 billion FTV. Sui has $1.6 billion TVL. So like and this is 700 million right now. So it's about a difference of 2 and a bit. Whether you're late or not, I'm just telling you this is what I think is happening, and I think it may be a bit more of a medium term thing.
Yeah,
I don't think that this has only just begun or at least started like a week ago, in my opinion, if it really did. And if this is going to be more of a meta thing, I think this is going to be more than just.
I think you're right. I did see this tweet from CBB. I wanted to bring it up. I had it on earlier on the stream. His theory was that the pumps we saw yesterday in a handful of coins, specifically Bera IP and Kaido, so this is Phantom excluded, were effectively short squeezes. And so still kind of trying to balance like what is real organic buying versus, what might be a different type of game playing. I think Kobe shared a post a few weeks back saying that it was somewhat known that some of these teams were working with funds with these give back clauses to inject capital into their chart, basically risk free.
Sorry, yeah, IP feels like that.
Yeah, sure. It does feel like that. And no shade, but like I don't know that I've seen an alt go straight parabolic like this.
Not since the DWF days. Yeah, this one felt like a short squeeze, right? There was a lot of hate on IP protocol. Everyone was like, like these guys are going to be underwater on their last round. This isn't DeFi. So Story Protocol has some DeFi stuff on it, I think, but like generally this is DeFi. So this is a very different. That was more like a altcoin short squeeze. What I'm seeing elsewhere from like degen activity is DeFi.
I'd agree. I think Berachain falls into more of the Sonic bucket than the IP bucket. Also, just a word of warning. I know it's been increasingly popular for folks to short meme coins and people to loudly want to short these new tokens at launches. Just be careful. Be careful out there. You got to know who you're up against. Logie, I think the big news from this morning, we got to talk about this a little bit, was Brian Armstrong coming out and saying the SEC has dropped their case. Do you have a little bit more info on this one for us?
Yeah, so this stems from the 2023 lawsuit from the SEC, which basically alleged that Coinbase was, selling unregistered securities. And And yeah, not fully approved and settled at this point in time. This is Coinbase kind of coming out and saying that they've agreed with high-ranking members of the SEC to drop this suit. It needs an official approval, basically, which Paul Grewal, the chief legal officer at Coinbase, indicated is expected to happen next week. So, of course, Mando mentioned, some of this might have been known a little bit earlier this week, but some euphoria on the timeline, of course, when the official stuff starts to trickle down. I imagine we'll get to run it back a little bit more next week if and when that news does officially break that it is kind of off the table. This is, of course, good news, right? A few things that I sent to you, Tyler, that stood out to me. I read the blog post from Coinbase this morning about this announcement. Two particular sentences. One was about the clarity, right, which is something people have been fighting for, not just Coinbase, but many, many folks here, particularly in the United States, and fighting for regulatory clarity about, all their offerings, et cetera. And Coinbase, this is from their blog, says clarity will bring new inflows of capital into the U.S., update our financial system so consumers pay lower fees, and help create economic freedom for all. Sort of blanket statement, but something I think we can all rally behind. The next thing was even more bullish for me, to get bold up if you need to this morning. The very next sentence was, we believe we will eventually get to a point where the majority of global GDP runs on a crypto rails. They are, of course, incentivized to say things like that. They're the infrastructure that would help, potentially make that possible, right? So it doesn't stem too far from what you'd expect them to say, but it's just good to see that. And I was thinking back as I read that, I was thinking back to Brian Armstrong's quotes at Davos, maybe what was that, a month ago at this point in time, in which he indicated, we'll see multi-million-dollar Bitcoin. And lots of people throw out outlandish price targets, VanEck, et cetera. You can make of those what you will. For some reason, and this is just personally, when I hear it from people like Coinbase and I hear it from people like Brian Armstrong, it just has a little bit more oomph for me, than just like Saylor bull posting or whatever. So yeah, just take all those things together. And this is, we talked about earlier this week, Tyler, a lot of these things feeling like we're going to look back and be like, man, they were hitting us over the head with all these headlines. Like it was so obvious, Yeah. It just feels like another one of those days. It feels like another one of those days.
This pair of headlines from the SEC from these last 2 days is very significant. So they launched a crypto crime fighting unit to focus on real fraud across cybersecurity, across blockchain. And then the next day, the news comes out that they've dropped their case against Coinbase. So they're dropping the fluff and they're focusing on more true fraud. And I feel like this is exactly what we needed. I was very tired, to say the least, of the crime season posts just running rampant across CT, and we've seen what's happened with that. I think crime season's over.
Well, speaking of that, it looks like Bybit has been hacked.
Oh, geez, Louise.
Have you seen this?
No.
Bybit hacked for $1.5 billion. That's why the market is currently selling off, guys. Sorry. Yeah, looks like their hot wallet just got hacked for $1.5 billion ETH, and it's being dumped on chain. I don't know if that's part of a broader hack, but yeah, not a good look.
Oh no, this
Second
is
exchange out there.
Welcome to Fridays in crypto, where we feel so good. And then what happens? I'm trying to find the tweets here, folks. Bear with me. Bybit official hot wallet hacked. It's a multi-sig 1.5 billion. Man.
Yeah.
How's that even possible?
I mean, it can only really be private keys being fished, I think. 1.5 billion is pretty big, I think, for Bybit, if I'm honest. I know they probably make a lot of money, but yeah, not a good look. Anyway, I mean, it's caused a little bit of a dump. ETH's obviously dropped like 1 or 2%, it looks like.
Yeah, terrible.
Bitcoin similarly has moved about 1.5%. Solana down a bit, yeah.
We're definitely selling off here.
I mean, it's not a good look. Bybit is probably the second biggest exchange in terms of volume out there. Huge in Asia, and you don't know like if they've been hacked for that. Have they been hacked for any of the other wallets that they have? Yeah. Not a good look.
All right. Well, we'll see if more information comes out about this during the show. Hate to see it.
Crime season, man.
I was just getting bowled up.
I was just calling for the end of crime season, then a major exchange gets hacked. So there you have it. Let's move on. Maybe talk about something a little bit lighter, and then we'll circle back if we need to. Logie, you haven't had a chance to really. We talked about Kaido on Wednesday ahead of the airdrop. I was on with OV yesterday, and this thing's trading at almost $2. It's $1.92 right now. That's 1.9 billion FDV. The market cap's nearly half a billion at 460 million. I shared yesterday that I sold some of my tokens after the airdrop, much lower than it is right now. At this level, I think this is $35 per YAP. They paid out to the folks who didn't get nerfed. And some folks got even more than that. Like the very early joiners, those who actually subscribed to the service, got upwards of $40 to $50 per YAP. This chart is surprising to me. This is not how I thought it would play out. I'm very happy to see it. We got some news out of the Kaido team this morning. Actually, a lot of news. So one, they used royalties to sweep the Genesis NFTs. Those rallied 80% back to 3 ETH. I think they were down in the ones for a little bit yesterday. We had Yoohoo come out and say they are going to prioritize NFT owners and stakers. I think there was a 70% APR on staking. But it seems like they're heavily trying to prioritize, reward those who hold the token, stake it, as well as the NFT owners. Just curious for your thoughts, reactions here, now that we are about a full 24 hours post-launch.
Yeah, it's a little surprising to see. I think this price at this point in time. I mean, like yesterday when we were talking about it, those pre-markets at like what 1.2 to 1.4, even at down to 1 or whatever. It didn't seem completely outlandish, just given the overall excitement about what was coming, some of the buzzwords here, right? AI, all that stuff, all those alignments. So that didn't seem super outrageous to me. I still, I guess, just a little uncertain as to what the future looks like. Of course, all of these things, they want to be super long-term. They want to be very aligned, Kaido aligned. That was mentioned like 3 or 4 times in the tokenomics and in other tweets and things I saw from the team yesterday. I just don't know what's here moving forward. I mean, I feel like a lot of what's been shared has been a little bit shrouded in ambiguity, a little bit shrouded in buzzwords, and there's still uncertainty about like what those revenues and things look like. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all to see where it didn't surprise me, I should say, to see the price where it was yesterday. It would surprise me to see it continue to rally. I don't know, 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 billion, whatever. Like that would be a little surprising without a bit more insight into like what's actually going on here in the future, right? Because all we saw were those rumblings about the kind of decentralized Google type thing, right? So,
yeah, I mean, I'll admit,
I'm uncertain.
I'm surprised to see it at 1.9 billion FTV here. I mean, shout out to them. That is an incredible launch. It is not easy to launch your protocols token and get to $2 billion. Mando, I know you've been somewhat at arm's length to this. Curious if you have any reactions on Kaido, perhaps the vision or kind of the lack of some information they've shared, because like they really haven't shared much with respect to how they're generating revenue. We still don't really have a whole lot of detail about their vision. Curious if you have a take.
I mean, don't they have a subscription model?
They do. That's certainly one aspect of their, and I'd say that's probably their primary aspect.
Yeah.
New generation, and then you can assume that perhaps they're monetizing those pre-TGE projects who get on the launch pad in some capacity.
Yeah, so I think that's partly it. Like there's obviously been a social layer to drops for a while. Things like layer 3 are very well-known companies here, which have raised at very high valuations before. This seems to maybe Web3 that whole thing, and potentially like, yeah, people actually get revenue from their social, their social score, essentially doing different things. So I think that being said, like that is completely finger in the air sort of stuff. Like this could have come at lots of different levels, in my opinion. No one would really have known. So I think let's see where it all ends up. I can't say it looks cheap or expensive at this sort of level until I know a little bit more. But new mints are trading, new coins are trading very, very well. So it could just be part of that whole meta. This Bybit thing's, I do think we should talk about it a bit more here. Like, it looks like Zach XBT is confirming that this is a hack. There was some rumors that this may just be a movement. Looks like the market is really not reacting well to it now. I don't know if they have anything else. Zach XBT is confirmed it's a security incident. It's mainly just affecting ETH and staked ETH, it looks like. But we haven't had one of these for a long time, and the market is not liking it at all.
Where? Sorry, I'm looking for the tweet. Is it a reply or what?
I just got an alert that Zach XBT has confirmed it. Maybe it's in his Discord. I know he has his own like community, right?
All right, just trying to look for more content live on the show here, folks. Bear with us. Bybit reportedly hacked for 1.5 billion.
Yeah,
this is huge. Very negative. Oh, so we had this up already.
I don't know how big Bybit's. I mean, I can only assume that they have enough money to cover this. Like, but 1.5 billion, like. That's the sort of hole that FTX was in, right? It's 3 billion hole, but like you gotta, I mean, I think Bybit's not capitalized like FTX is, but like that's, if you lose 1.5 billion, you lose 1.5 billion dollars. Like that's not small at all.
So 1.5 billion in users' funds potentially gone. 400,000 ETH.
400,000 ETH. Where is that gone?
Worth $1.1 billion. Let's see if there's
Are they just gonna, I mean, I guess you can just put it through Tornado these days, right? But
I guess I'm not even familiar how you necessarily exit this or how you get away with these funds. I'm trying to.
Just as I'm not sure if any of the listeners use Bybit, but I'm seeing some people on the timeline indicate that they are getting withdrawals through.
I guess that first call to action is if you're a Bybit user, get a hold of your funds. This guy's saying misleading FUD planned wallet maintenance.
no, it's not. Zach XBT is confirming that it is.
So it is confirmed hack. All right, so here's the confirmation from Zach. So it looks like it is in his Discord. METH, staked ETH, currently being swapped on DEXs for ETH. His sources confirm it's a security incident.
Damn. Maybe there's, I mean, Binance in the past has come through to help some of these exchanges. So is Justin Sun. So maybe we're gonna see someone come in and try and help Bybit here. This wouldn't be good for the industry. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I
mean, we're not nuking. Bitcoin's fallen 3% or 2%. It looks like. It looks like Solana's down to 170, so that's down about 4 or 5%. ETH interestingly is actually it's down only about 3 or 4%, so it's not getting absolutely destroyed here, despite that being the asset they're selling. But
yeah, it's down about $100. was 28.25 right before this news broke. Now 27.29.
A lot of money's going to leave exchanges here, though, guys.
Yeah, I think this is. I wonder if this is a part of the Coinbase discussion I wanted to have before this broke was kind of the future of their business model as a sex in the world where banks are going to start custodying crypto. Like, I feel like this is the type of headline that just pushes everyone to say, like, okay, I'm just going to hold crypto with my bank if I can.
Yeah.
Aren't they? I mean, they're prone to the same potential issue, though.
Depends where they custody it. Yeah. Yeah. Arguably, I think the institutional might have to have more stringent custody services, but I don't know. Like, I have no idea about this wallet. It's called the Bybit Hot Wallet. So
it raises the question of why Bybit would have a.
Is that like our hot wallet where you're like degenning with it? I have no idea.
Yeah.
You've got to assume it has multi-sigs on it. Like this would only really be the North Koreans, I imagine. And it would be similar, I would say, to like the Ronin hack, 2 years ago, where they managed to like do a fake job interview and install malware and all this sort of stuff. Like, this isn't small. The real hope is that other wallets haven't been compromised. I'm sure Bybit has a lot more assets. It may not have than 1.5 billion.
Yeah, I'm curious what type of, like, do they have any insurance mechanisms? Like, are funds insured? What does Coinbase have, Logan? Like up to 100,000?
Yeah, but that's only if you're a Prime customer. Like, you have to pay the $35 a month or whatever to be a Prime customer. And I think the number is 100,000. I have no clue how it works. Bybit is what? Is that South Korea, Singapore? I'm not exactly sure where they're headquartered, but like
Singapore.
Singapore.
But yeah. I think that it won't come to that. I don't think the users will lose money here. Like, this feels like not a bad actors sort of thing. I reckon people would come in and save them if you needed to here. Like the last big hack we had in an exchange was ZeroX, which is that like the #1 exchange in India, which got hacked. Similarly by the North Koreans, and I think users got about like 80% of their funds, but obviously much smaller than Bybit like this. Yeah.
Not fun to see. It looks like ETH is continuing to dip here, so down to about to lose 2,700.
I imagine we'll get a pretty good post-mortem here. Hasn't Bybit they've been leading the charge kind of on the transparency front with regards to liquidations and stuff, right? They just did that API update with CoinGlass and such. Remember, I believe it was the Bybit CEO, maybe CEO founder, that came out and said that big liquidation, the biggest one ever, right? It was closer to 10 billion as compared to 2 billion or something like that. So
yeah,
hopefully in the
Benzao, he's pretty well known. Yeah, he's like he's pretty public as a figure. But I don't know who. There's multiple owners of Bybit.
Yeah, I'm just hopeful, in the vein of transparency, which they've leaned into here in the last couple of weeks, that we'll get like a really good breakdown of exactly what happened. Hopefully.
Yeah, I would reckon so.
Yeah, and hopefully soon. So the majors continue to fall here. Bitcoin 97,250. ETH just lost 2,700. It's going fast now. I'm seeing 26.
Well,
what is it on Hype?
Stocks are also dropping, which wouldn't be related to this, I don't think, but probably playing a role.
All right, I'm still seeing 2,700. Hyper's a little.
Well, I think a lot of hyperliquid bulls are like. I mean, I see the timeline of people who are hyperliquid bulls like being happy almost about this, or like finding it funny because obviously they've been questioned for a lot of this sort of stuff by these big perp sexes. So to see Bybit go down like this, I think is people might buy hyperliquid, so to speak. Like if you were a big perp trader, which is what Bybit's really known for, it does a lot of spot, but it's mainly known for perps. Maybe you're moving to hyperliquid. Yeah.
Looks like we're seeing a slight rebound. So Bitcoin back 975, ETH 2720.
The main risk here would just be if there's other wallets which are compromised. I don't think there's a risk. I mean, I would say there's a very limited risk of Bybit being insolvent or something like that. Like this would be very, very painful for them. But so they've sold 200 million, it looks like, of the 1.5 billion. So I think that's probably why it's selling off, because there's still 1.3 billion to sell.
Other folks seeing it and trying to front run is probably a part of this as well.
Yeah.
Ben Zhao just posted.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You send me the link to that?
Yep. 1 sec, coming in, Tyler.
Real quick while we wait, folks. So we are still doing Rollbit spins. Coinbase is the code for today. Coinbase is the code. We'll probably be doing that in about 10 minutes here. Appreciate everyone sticking on with us during this developing situation.
He's downplaying it, but it sounds, I don't really understand what he's saying. He's saying Bybit ETH multi-sig cold wallet just made a transfer to our warm wallet about an hour ago. So they made a transfer from their cold wallet to their warm wallet. It appears that this specific transfer was musked. I don't know what that means. All the signers saw the musked UI, which showed the correct address and URL was from @safe. So they were using a Notice Safe. However, the signing message was to change the smart contract logic of our ETH cold wallet. So for some reason, they signed something which changed the logic of their cold wallet. This resulted hacker took control of the specific ETH cold wallet we signed and transferred all the ETH in the cold wallet to his unidentified address. So basically, they must have signed something on their cold wallet, which meant a hacker could take control of it, and he has moved it to his own funds. Ben Zhao has ended this by saying, all withdrawals are normal. Please rest assured that all other cold wallets are secure.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Can you imagine? Can you imagine their risk department right now? We signed something. We signed something wrong on the ledger.
They signed it.
And
Is
you
that
lose
like an
$5 billion.
injection thing? What is musked?
I don't know. I don't know the term musked, and I've been in crypto for a while now. So maybe somebody else sent a potential. I just don't. I honestly don't know. But somebody, so this isn't. This is interesting.
Do you think he means masked, and it's masked as a hidden UI, so it looks like it's a legit signature, and they've hit it by mistake?
Yeah, maybe it does mean masked. Maybe it does mean masked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this doesn't seem like the Ronin hack. So the good thing is like they haven't, this isn't like their private keys have been hacked and they're all screwed. Like this does seem like somebody's managed to like somehow send them something to sign, and they've all signed it and lost control of the.
And customer funds withdrawals are normal. So some positive here. It seems localized. Man, this just also raises the question: like, if the largest exchanges can't safely transact, like, it just
ETH is a bit like this though. Like, there's so many. If you sign the wrong thing, you can just give away. I mean, we saw it even on Abstract the other day. Like, it's so much easier to inject malicious code into. Well, seemingly, what I always see is this sort of stuff happens on ETH. I rarely see this stuff happening on Solana, right? Like the idea that you can sign something that gives unlimited privileges to do other things is something that I know. Obviously, we're even sponsored by people that do help with that sort of protection, but it does feel a little too easy if it's being done to Bybit.
Yeah. These are the days when things like this happen. Like, these are the times where I really sit back and question, like, why the hell do we own this stuff? Like the immutability and all those pros that it provides. Like, these things are really scary when they happen at this level, for sure. Like you mentioned, Tyler, I mean, this is like, these are experts in the space operating that just got. It's tough.
Yeah, I think the more assets you have, I think you have to really think about OPSEC, you have to think about splitting things up, and that makes it harder to manage. It's like, so I've got a family. I need to make sure my wife, if something happens to me, knows how to access all this stuff. So that means I need to have all the instructions stored somewhere, which is another risk factor, right? Like, it does paint the case for investing via the ETFs very, very easily. And I think when banks start custody this stuff, I think we're going to see folks who want to use that.
Yeah. Or just have something that like warns you. I guess with Gnosis, they probably don't have the same sort of warning technology. I know MetaMask and Wallet Guard and all this other stuff is like added. Like if you're using MetaMask, they'll tell you like, oh, do not sign this. But I don't know if Gnosis have probably got that.
Well, I mean, the impossible part there, at least as indicated by Ben, is that the must, whatever, the UI showed the right address. Like that's terrifying if that's the case. I mean, how is anybody supposed to know if it looks like the right address on your little screen? Like you're just gonna click, unless there's some other way to ensure that it points out something was injected or whatever. But I mean, if it's showing the right address and everybody's seeing the right address, I don't know. I mean, what do you do? I don't know.
It's tricky.
It's interesting. This is clearly something that they don't do that often, but they had told people they were going to do it. So they had told people in advance, hey, don't worry, we're doing this. So if you see any weird movements, that's why you saw that tweet that said like they told everyone they were going to do this. So clearly a hacker was warned that they were going to do this in the next day, and then like basically prepared this ahead of time. It looks like.
So the hacker figured out like the exact time they were going to do the transfer, and like,
or must have known that like it was coming very, very soon. So
I appreciate them trying to telegraph this in advance, just so people don't get spooked. But I mean, the downside seems
is this.
Yeah. Yikes. Well, we will see what else continues to come out of this. Just a few minutes left in the show. I don't know if we'll get any more details here before we close. Is this going to stop Kanye from dropping his coin today? Of course, the natural seg. This was already the risk overhanging the trenches, on everyone's mind. So this is no longer private or rumors or insiders. CoinDesk published this story that there is a planned Kanye token. It was apparently set to launch last night, and they decided to push it. He's keeping 70% of the tokens, 10% for liquidity, 20% for investors. So make of that what you will. I will give shout out to CoinDesk for this headline.
Yeah.
Self-proclaimed Nazi who said coins prey on fans plans XYZ token.
Is this the time for Kanye to release a coin? Like, I just feel like
it's the worst possible time to launch a coin.
Yeah, it's gone full douchebag recently. So I don't know. And I was a big Kanye fan. Like, it just feels like the guy needs. I don't know if a coin is going to help the guy's mental state.
That's why I keep seeing the argument that he's got such a big fan base, and like I'm a huge fan, but like it doesn't make me want to go out and buy a token. And I mean, we can always get into like Rocket Game, and can you dump on the next guy? Maybe you can. So we'll see. They pushed it once. Will they actually deliver it today? I don't know. Apparently, it's going to be live from his website, so it's not even going to be like a typical token sale. I don't know. There's a lot of questions about how this is actually going to work. Just rounding through things quickly on a lighter note, Abstract had a nice little win. The on-chain Genesis Heroes NFTs 4 or 5x.
Nice.
Yesterday. I think Abstract is an ecosystem that needed some wins, especially after this week. So I think seeing some digital assets have some success on chain is tied to one of the leading games. They've also got a token coming, the Hero token. So excited to see that. I think we love that one. Trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, Sam Spratt. Shout out to Sam. We had him on the show yesterday. He finished his primary sale for the masks. 2.19 million raised. Overall total 5.19 million.
Yeah.
Well, very well deserved. The game begins today, folks. So I think he's already shared some more content about how to play. We got some alpha in the interview yesterday. If you missed that, go back and listen to it. Get more insight from Sam himself about what he's actually looking for from players. I think we'll have to cut it there. I want to make sure we have time for Rollbit. So, folks, one more time while we get this loaded and ready. The code today is Coinbase. Coinbase is the code. Folks, don't remember, we gave away a Pudgy Penguin, $28,000 on Wednesday. Let's see what we get today. Request, come on up. You are our first winner, AN71QU3. You have to request soon to come up and be eligible to claim. So we are watching. If we want, let's go ahead and get the next one. Get requesting. All right, I see. And 71 Antique is up here. Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Kola Kaido. Let's get you up here as well. Clock's ticking. We had to send Bongo back earlier this week. Hated to do it to him.
Hey.
All right, Antique, you won. How you feeling?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Awesome to have you on here. We're going to give you your spin here in just a second. Let's see if we can get Kola up here. Still no requests. I'm not seeing requests yet. Clock's ticking, Kola. And we've got a tight deadline. Come on up. All right, I'm not seeing him.
I found out what musked means.
What is it?
A musked attack refers to a phishing technique where attackers create a perfect visual replica of a legitimate interface. In this case, Safe's multi-sig wallet interface, but the actual transaction data being signed is different from what's displayed. It's familiar to a fake ATM interface. The screen shows you're withdrawing $100, but the machine is actually programmed to take your whole balance.
How was someone supposed to?
Good to hear.
In Bybit's case, what the signers saw was a normal ETH transfer. What they actually signed is a contract change, giving attacker the control. So it's like a fake ATM, essentially.
Thank you. All right. If we wait, why don't we go ahead and get into Antique Spin? And then we'll get all right, Little Mustard is requesting. All right. So we've got Little Mustard. So we are good. I think let's go ahead and get into the spins here. I know we're tight today. It's so close. And it is a Rec Guy Antique. You've won 3D glasses, Rec Guy. A nice one. Congratulations. It looks like they got bumped off stage. Well, Antique, we will work with you after the show. Check your DMs to get you that Rec Guy. Mustard, you also won today. Mustard, thanks for joining us. How you feeling?
Yo, hell yeah. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Let's go. Here's your spin. And another nice one. Nice teal with shiny purple. Congratulations. You won $1,000 more just for tuning into FOMO Hour. It's been a big week of prizes. Congrats. We'll work with you after the show as well. Folks, man, sorry to see this Bybit hack live. Not what we wanted to see, but hopefully markets can rebound this weekend beyond that. That is going to be our show. Well, thanks to our listeners. Thanks to our partners. Thanks to my co-host. We will be back Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern with Farokh. Farokh's triumphant return to FOMO Hour. We're excited to hear about Paris and Asia from him. Until then, go make it a great day. Goodbye.